streak of 18 straight wins for New England, and many of those came right here at Gillette Stadium. Unbeaten here last year, first time ever. Brady, Super Bowl MVP. Belichick, Coach of the Year. Can anyone stop them? They're not in the mood to share the mark. The Bears twice, Dolphins, 49ers, Broncos, only 6 teams, including the Patriots, winning 18 in a row. Let's go down to the field now. Armin Katayan.
Thank you, Duke. I'm with head coach Bill Belichick. Bill, you've made it clear that this consecutive win streak is not a priority to you and this football team. That said, how do you combat the notion that this is a mismatch with the winless Dolphins?
Well, last year we played Miami. We only scored 3 points offensively. It's always a dogfight with them. Winning to overtime in the first game down there last year. It's always tough against the Dolphins. I'm sure it will be today.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Dick?
All right, Armin. Thank you. Bill Belichick indeed playing it one at a time. And while many are crowing about the 18 in a row, and here's a change right off the bat. Olindo Mari has a bad calf, and Wes Welker, rookie from Texas Tech, his job usually at the other end, catching punts and kickoffs, and Welker, emergency kickoff man. Mare had hoped to be able to kick and may indeed still be able, with that injury, to try the field goals, but running up and planting and kicking was bothering him. A left footer, and Welker sends a half spiral down to Kevin Casper, a new Patriot. And Casper is across the 30-yard line on his first return as a Patriot. Tom Brady making his 50th career start. Phenomenal during this 18-game winning streak. Up front, left tackle Matt Light anchors a grossly underrated Patriot line. And young tight end Daniel Graham, 4 touchdowns already in just 3 games. A budding Shannon Sharp, and being compared to Sharp and Tony Gonzalez, his deep threat as a tight end. Hand off to Corey Dillon, and Dillon, the ex-Bengal, able to barely get around the corner and pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line by one of the top defenses in the NFL. Still one of the very best, and Jason Taylor's pass rush is a key to their fine record. The epitome of a linebacker is Zach Thomas, Miami's top tackler for the 8th straight year, and Pro Bowler Pat Surtain continues as one of the league's best cover corners. He's a major reason Miami leads the NFL in pass defense. Second down and 7. Brady, good protection, and throws a little short to David Givens on his back at the 43-yard line.
Dick, as we looked at an incomplete pass to David Givens, it's really noteworthy for the Patriots here that 3 of their top receivers are inactive for today's game. Deion Branch is still out with the bad knee. Bethel Johnson there in the middle, just a game-time decision to be inactive, a coach's decision. And Troy Brown with the bad shoulder, he hurt it last week in the first quarter. So that is a lot of firepower missing from the Patriots' passing game. And yet Givens and Patton still 2 high-quality NFL receivers.
We'll see more of the rookie P.K. Sam from Florida State. He wears 14. Brady pumps, throws right open down the middle. And a flag down as David Givens, who has matured as a terrific receiver. He was a running back primarily at Notre Dame. We'll check the penalty. It's in the secondary of the Miami Dolphins. Bernie Kukar with a white hat, the referee today.
Holding, 63 offense, illegal contact, 23 defense, penalties offset, 3rd down.
Joe Andruzzi, the guard, was holding, and Surtain contact after 5 yards. They'll play it over, 3rd and 7.
There's Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. Well, the world is a great place for Charlie with this offensive team. And, I liken him to, he's almost like the Mike Martz of the AFC. So innovative. He truly has the other defenses around the National Football League scratching their head. The Patriots have no tendencies.
Junior Seau trying to blitz, can't get through the blocking, and now it breaks down. Brady scrambles, on the run, throws, it's intercepted by Patrick Surtain. And Surtain, who had 7 picks to lead the Dolphins a year ago, has his second this year. And that's one of the game plans for Dave Wanstead. He said, we're going to take some chances, we're going to be more aggressive, hope that we can move a corner or a safety where he shouldn't be expected.
Well, Tom Brady, you see the blitz right up the middle by Junior Seau. He's got time. He buys himself a little more time. So as he throws it, he really has had ample time to survey the field. It's just that after that time, he just makes a poor decision. You can see right there, Surtain was underneath the whole time, really looking at Brady. Pretty easy pick.
4th interception thrown by Brady to give to Leonard Russell, and Russell hit by the rookie from the University of Miami, Florida, Vince Wilfork. As we check the Miami Dolphins offense and Jay Fiedler, he has to do better. 4 interceptions, no touchdowns for him. And it's a rookie, Vernon Carey, who gets his first start. He's from the University of Miami, their #1 draft pick. And Chris Chambers, they welcome the wide receiver back. He was their top pass catcher a year ago. 2nd down, 8. Russell again. Not much there. Leonard Henry, and not much at all for Henry as he gets to the 46-yard line. The Patriots defense features young Pro Bowl defensive end Richard Seymour. Had a touchdown last week, 68 yards. Teddy Bruschi at linebacker, spirited playmaker in the middle of that defense. And Ty Law with 35 career picks is just 1 interception away from tying the all-time New England record held by Raymond Claiborne.
Well, the pressure point for Miami offensively is squarely on their offensive line. They'll see more fronts, more confusing looks from this Patriots defense today, and this is a line that has not played well at all.
Out of the shotgun, full blitz, a throw downfield for Chambers, incomplete. They tried to slip Chambers down that left sideline, and Eugene Wilson, good coverage for New England, as well as Ty Law, who always seems to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, you used the word trying to slip him by. Not many people slip by Ty Law.
So Matt Turk comes in to punt, 41.1 his average. Beautiful high sailing kick. Kevin Falk lets it go, and it can't be saved. A gallant effort downfield for the Miami Dolphins, but unsuccessful was Jimmy Wyrick. No score, underway, New England. The Dolphins have enough trouble scoring points, only 2 touchdowns so far in 4 games, and there goes their top scoring threat, Olindo Mare, being carted off. He's had a bad calf. He warmed up and apparently aggravated the injury. Now up from the 20, it's Corey Dillon, and he has a solid 6 yards on first down before the ever-present Zach Thomas can make the tackle with Sammy Knight assisting.
This is such a one-dimensional football team for Miami, and it's all on the defensive side of the ball. Look where they rank in NFL categories. Just check that out. It's just superb when you consider how little help they get from the offense. How do they start this game? Giving their offense the ball in New England territory. Their offense gains 1 yard.
On 2nd and short, Dillon, handoff, gets a yard. And there's that swarming Dolphin defense, and there are a lot of Pro Bowlers on that side of the ball. We've already seen Pat Surtain come up with the interception. David Bowen's not related to Tim, who is not active again. He has the disc problem in his back. You take the 2 big men, Dan, out of the center of that defense. They haven't been able to stop the run the way they did last year.
And nobody knows that more than Zach Thomas. Without Larry Chester and Tim Bowens in front of him, he's having to take on blockers a whole lot more. But again, 4 games, haven't given up more than 17 points. That's excellent football on the defensive side.
A lot of movement changing the defense is Zach Thomas. Brady trying to counter with his call on 3rd down. Lots of time. Now it breaks down, and he throws incomplete, and that ball was near Zach Thomas, who had Dillon well covered. Jeff Scanina, number 90, pressuring Brady, but Brady had 5 seconds. couldn't find an open man.
Well, just excellent work by this Miami secondary. Hey, what's new about that with Surtain and Sam Madison, Edwards, Sammy Knight, and Tom Brady finally in his fourth check down tries to find Dillon, but again, Zach Thomas was awfully close to that football.
Wes Welker back at the Miami 27, anticipating the left-footed Josh Miller's first punt. Drives a wobbler to the 33, Welker 40, and the rookie from Texas Tech out of bounds just across the 45-yard line, and a flag is down back near the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's less than 5 yards for the first down, so Miami's better hope this isn't even something simple like an offside.
Holding number 50 of the return team during the punt. Penalty be assessed from possession chain.
So
First down.
10 yards from the 45 back to the 35. Well, now they're going to mark it to the 25-yard line. No score early.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Red Lobster. Don't miss endless shrimp going on now only at Red Lobster. And by Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed.
Nature's paintbrush. Some early colors here, early October in New England. The penalty marked off from the spot where Welker caught the punt. That was the 35, so Miami starts from the 25. No score. 10:41 left in the quarter. There goes Fiedler down in the grasp of Richard Seymour. Seymour's second sack of the season. He is a star.
Yes, he is, Dick. Already been to a couple Pro Bowls. Just look at, you talk about an athlete, and you notice how he timed that out. Teddy Johnson blitzes to the outside. Richard Seymour delays and then slices in right behind him. And again, this Miami offensive line that has been struggling all year, they're going to be susceptible to the blitzes and to the looks that are always different from this New England defense.
Henry, the lone running back. Fiedler has that one batted in the air, incomplete. And that was the rookie Vince Wilfork. 325 pounds of rookie from Miami of Florida.
Well, this Miami Dolphins team is a tale of two units. We already documented their defense and how they were up near the top. Here's their offense.
Ouch. Squared.
Last all the way down the line. It has been just a horrendous year, and of course, it all started when the week before training camp, Ricky Williams said, "I'm going overseas. See you later."
Now, that was a terrible blow to this Miami team. The offense was built around him. Third and a mile. Down the middle, intercepted. Picked off by the rookie Randall Gay from LSU. His first NFL interception. And the Patriots celebrate. They have it at the Dolphin 30.
And Jay Fiedler's run of turnovers continues. He had 4 of them last week. Trying to make something happen. Outstanding protection. But you could see Randall Gay all over that, working underneath. And Jay Fiedler just praying, I guess, that somehow Darius Thompson's going to make a hook and come back to that football. But Jay Fiedler now on the season, 0 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions.
Gay, an undrafted free agent out of LSU. First down at the 30. Spread wide is Dillon, and then hits the sidelines at the 28-yard line with Surtain encourage him out of bounds. Corey Dillon, what a pickup. On top of all the talent this Super Bowl defending team has, they get Dillon for a number 2 draft pick from Cincinnati. 323 yards already in just 3 games. And Bill Belichick and all the New England players just rave about the desire and work ethic of this man.
When you heard about that trade in the offseason, you're just thinking to yourself, oh my gosh.
Brady steps away from trouble and throws it away. Gibbons the nearest target, and Brady dumped with good pressure that time from Jeff Scanina and Jason Taylor.
Dick, I just remember so vividly when I heard that the Patriots made that trade with Cincinnati to get Corey Dillon. And normally after winning a Super Bowl, your roster gets cherry-picked. You end up losing players. Players get offered more money from other teams than you can afford to pay. And yet here are the Patriots that remarkably held this team together. Yes, they lost Ted Washington, but they added Corey Dillon. They've actually gotten better from the team a year ago.
3rd and 8. Blitz, the throw, Gibbons, first down and more at the 16-yard line. He has become the number 1 target for Tom Brady. Started today with 14 catches and a 20-yard average.
And Tom Brady quickly becoming a quarterback. The teams are afraid to blitz. Patrick Surtain comes on the corner blitz, but Tom Brady waits and waits and waits. David Gibbons makes his blitz adjustment, breaks off his pattern, and at the last second, Brady makes a perfect throw. Every week you talk to team, who's a quarterback you don't want to blitz? And everybody says Tom Brady.
Stat tracks, information top of your screen, game tracks bottom of your screen. You'll follow the action around the league. And of course the individual highlights of this game on either stat tracks or game tracks. Flag down on the carry by Dillon. Cooker very deliberate. And now the result.
Now Bernie's been doing this.
63 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
This isn't Bernie's first rodeo, Dick. He's been in charge of NFL games for a lot of years.
And Druzzi ticketed for the 2nd time in the quarter. And
well, that gives Bill something to complain about, doesn't it?
Does that surprise you that they lead the league in penalties?
Yes, because this is a very intelligent, very smart football team, and it's got Bill Belichick a little perplexed. He thinks that these guys should be better than that in terms of playing smarter football.
On 1st and 20, the toss to Dillon. And invading Zach Thomas. I mean, you cannot go around the league and talk about the Dolphins and mention 54 without someone saying, is there any better linebacker anywhere?
Well, I just remembered what he told us about turnovers, and that's where the Miami defense is right now, playing after turnover. He said, just don't let them run it back into the end zone. He said, give us a chance. As a defensive player, there's nothing worse than having to run out for the extra point. He said, just tackle them somewhere on the field and give us a chance to hold up.
How's that for an attitude?
Yes, how about that?
2nd down. Brady circles, throws down the middle, and Patton tries for the catch in heavy traffic, and flag down in the backfield, and that's right where Brady threw the ball. And it's personal foul, roughing the passer, first down, New England. Painful news for Wannstedt.
Well, you can't go low.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 27 of the defense, hitting the quarterback low. That's a half the distance to the goal.
Will Poole, the nickel
Well, watch
corner.
him go low. You can't do that. Will Poole, a rookie, goes right for Brady's knees. Look at that. You cannot hit a quarterback around his legs. You have to go to his upper body. You can't hit him with a helmet, but you cannot hit him down around the knees. That is an automatic. The quarterback is in a defenseless position, and Tom Brady's lucky he didn't get hurt right there.
How about that statistic? 32 points, 34 penalties for Miami on the season. Now Dillon ripping up the middle and down to the 2-yard line. Saving the touchdown was safety Sammy Knight.
Well, excellent blocking at the point of attack, but then Joe Andruzzi, the left guard, pulls around and gets a key block. Take a look at Andruzzi there, 63. There's the kick out. Dillon goes right inside. And the one thing about Corey Dillon, when given the opportunity to go to the sidelines, he follows Andruzzi or cut it up the middle. He will more than likely cut it to the goal line.
Dan Klecko, Joe's kid, in at fullback as Dillon tries the middle with no success. So Bill Belichick has used various defensive players, either as tight ends or fullbacks. Klecko, Mike Vrabel, who caught touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Richard Seymour.
They spread the wealth around. Of course, those defensive guys love nothing more than get in and block somebody.
Of course, Bill Belichick watching Richard Seymour run for a touchdown last week. Who knows? Maybe he can use some of that high stepping style carrying the ball on offense.
From the 1, Brady. Touchdown, Daniel Graham. Flag is down in the end zone, but if it counts, that's 5 for Graham in 3 games plus.
Holding 96 defense. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
We told you about Graham. The next Gonzalez or Shannon Sharp. 5 consecutive games with a touchdown for Graham.
How's that touchdown to catch ratio? What's it? 12 receptions, 5 touchdowns. That's not too shabby, is it?
And we haven't seen him yet go deep, because he can really clear out down the seam. Here's one of the many Super Bowl heroes, Adam Vinatieri, for the extra point. 7-0 for the team, going for 19 in a row.
After all the time in the world, Tom Brady works right to left, finds a wide open receiver, and what's new? The Patriots out early.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Red Lobster. Don't miss endless shrimp going on now, only at Red Lobster. And by Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed.
Interception to the 30, and Jason Taylor sees New England jump out 7-0. And now Vinatieri tees it up. At the other end, free agent undrafted Wes Welker for Miami. He's little at 5'9", but what big numbers in college. He had 257 catches at Texas Tech and set the NCAA record, 8 punt returns for touchdowns. In the open field, he's a threat. He takes this at the goal line. Skitters across the 25, and Patrick Pass makes the tackle. 6:26 left, first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hertz. It's your trip. Rent wisely. And by the U.S. Postal Service. With more new ways to use us than ever before, the U.S. Postal Service is working for you.
Back in Foxborough, a reminder, get complete recaps, all of today's NFL games, plus some insight from CBS Sportsline's NFL experts, only at CBSSportsline.com. Well, the bad news for Miami is that New England has scored first in 12 straight games, and you know how they fare. They've won 12 plus 6 others, 18 in a row. Hand off inside to Leonard Henry, and he finds some running room. And out for a gain of 6 or so before Rodney Harrison makes the tackle.
Dick, here's the touchdown. The Patriots have 3 receivers to this side. Here are 3 Dolphin defenders. The problem is when Graham comes across, none of these 3 Dolphin defenders goes with him. He gets lost in there. There he goes. And one of those 3 guys, I would have to assume, is going to have to run with Daniel Graham. Right here, he gets lost for just a second. The Miami coverage loses him, and that's just way too easy.
On second down and 3, Henry earns a yard, maybe 2, but is shy by a long yard from a first down. There's Daniel Graham in his 3rd year out of the University of Colorado. What size? 6'3", 257, runs a 4.5. He is a powerful threat on this Patriot offense.
His receiving skills are there. He is still a work in progress on blocking at the line of scrimmage. He came into this league as a pass receiving threat at tight end, and slowly but surely they're hammering away at him on his blocking skills.
The fiery Brewski yelling out the defensive call, 3rd and a long 1. Fiedler, catch, for short yardage, but enough to Randy McMichael has his 25th reception of the season. Second tight end in the league. McMichael out of Georgia. He, like Graham, came out of the collegiate ranks just 3 years ago. Played at Georgia.
Well, he's a tight end that, as Jay Fiedler says, will go after the tough catch. And that was a tough catch because in a short yardage situation like that, you need a yard. He ran a 2-yard pattern. Well, you know that some safety's taking dead aim at you. He took the hit and held on.
What did Fiedler call him? Rubbery. You better be. Fiedler on first down. McMichael hit by Harrison, and he timed contact perfectly. The veteran Harrison. Down to Armin Katayan.
Well, Dick, here's the update on Alinda Mari, and I got to tell you, it's a doozy. He re-aggravated that calf injury. He originally hurt last week when he slipped on some sod at Pro Players Stadium. He did it warming up when he was kicking field goals as far as 52 yards. And here's the doozy part. He's going to be replaced by Wes Welker. Harvey Green, the public relations director for the Dolphins, actually had to call Texas Tech to find out when the last time Welker kicked. It was one time, one extra point, and he missed it, Nick. Back to you.
Oh, my.
Can it possibly get worse for Miami?
2nd and 10, trailing 7-0. Here comes the jailbreak. Vince Wilfork, that rookie. Of course, he's playing against the team he followed all through college and high school. He's from Lantana, Florida. Played his college ball at the University of Miami.
Well, everybody on this offensive line for the Miami Dolphins is a different starter from a year ago. Would you guess it in looking at that blocking? It is one of the major disappointments of this team. Yes, they've got a rookie at Vernon Carey at right tackle, but the Patriots rookie won the battle that time, Vince Wilfork.
He's 6'2" and 325. Belichick loves his power and his quickness, and you saw it on one play. Fiedler underneath is complete to Marty Booker, and Booker tackled out across the 35, well short of the first down. Make that Darius Thompson. Thompson in for Booker on that play, but far short of the first down. It's only Thompson's 5th catch of the year. He was expected to do big things for Miami last year when they picked him up as an unrestricted free agent from Washington, but has been a bit of a disappointment. Had only 26 catches a year ago, just 5 this year. Matt Turk to Kevin Falk. Falk across the 35, and New England with good field position after a 36-yard punt, and 9 on the return. 3:13 left, opening quarter. Lots of information, folks, if you log on to NFL.com every day. See what Phil Simms and Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, and a Pro Bowl lineup of analysts have to say. It's all at NFL.com or at NFL on AOL. Ball at the 36. Patriots give it to Dillon. And he has a good 5 before Zach Thomas can make the tackle.
Well, Corey Dillon has been doing it for so many years, 7 years in this league. He's going to be 30 in a couple weeks, but such a combination of power, of speed, of agility, and wow, talk about a new life. Corey Dillon, Dick, reborn here in New England.
323 yards, that's second best since 1970 for a New England running back this early. Had 158 yards against Buffalo last week. Brady, how much time do you get? And now throws it away. So there's some excellent coverage downfield. He had to look for Kevin Casper playing his first game. He's only been here a week because of the 3 wide receivers on the injured list today, and Casper may not quite be in sync with his quarterback.
He got, as you said, got here on Wednesday. This is a real shock that Kevin Casper is actually running some plays from scrimmage. I figured he'd get some use, special teams, and those things you can be incorporated into relatively quickly. But actually playing from scrimmage in this complicated New England offense, how is he pulling this off?
He's in there now, 3rd and 5, as they bunch the receivers to the right, and then the tight end Graham goes in motion. And they throw over the middle, and the catch made by David Givens. He looks even bigger than he's listed, 6 feet and 215, and he wards off the defender as we go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, and we'll take you to Indianapolis, where Peyton Manning throws his league-leading 12th touchdown pass. James Monroe, the catch, rolls into the end zone. They've gone to the second quarter in Indy with the Colts up 7-0, guys.
All right, Greg. What was that stat I saw? That Manning at home is now, with that touchdown, 16 touchdowns and 1 interception. What a string that is. Now Brady caught from behind and then drilled by Zach Thomas, or is that Dario Romero, 94, the 300-pounder from Eastern Washington.
Well, if one thing is happening in this game so far, the New England 7 that are dropping back into coverage are really doing a good job. Now, it's initially caused by Tom Brady becomes distracted by Jason Taylor. But again, he's got nowhere to go with the football. And like a smart veteran, cover it up. Go ahead and just take the sack, go down. With this offense, you'll have another chance.
Well, even the Miami Dolphins raving about his managing the game. Here's the draw to Dillon, and Dillon gets very little as Jason Taylor knifed in for the tackle. Let's go right back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, to Pittsburgh this time, where young Ben Roethlisberger seems to get a little more respect every time he touches the football. Pulls it down 6 yards into the end zone for the score. It is a 14-10 Pittsburgh lead on the Cleveland Browns as the first quarter winds down in Pittsburgh, guys.
Big game there with a Cleveland win. They pull even with Pittsburgh 3-2. Steelers have a chance to open some ground.
You know it's football season when the Browns and the Steelers are swapping plastic.
That's what they do.
That's exactly right. That's a helmet-to-helmet game.
3rd and 13 for Brady. Again, well protected, throwing deep for Patton, and he's got it. To the 27 of Miami. Sam Madison, the veteran on the corner, couldn't get there in time. Beautiful throw by Brady.
That time Miami changes up, only with a 3-man rush, dropping 8 back into coverage. Now with 8 in coverage, you wouldn't expect to be able to get over the top like this. But you can see Patton works by Sam Madison at the line of scrimmage, and the safety help very late coming over. Very late coming over. You can see right there that Arturo Freeman was late to the play. Sam Madison actually did a pretty good job of disrupting the route early, but he got no safety help.
3rd and 13, they get 28 yards, and now Patrick Pass, who rarely gets a chance to carry. With a name like Pass, you don't get to carry very often. His 10th of the year takes us to the end of the opening quarter. 7-0, Patriots. They're even good at that, aren't they?
Yes,
We're an endangered species.
Not sure there's a whole lot Teddy Bruschi can't do.
That's right, from the 25, second and long, and Dillon straight ahead for a yard or two into the thick of that Miami defense with Brian Robinson, the ex-Bear, after 6 years, and Dave Wanstead praising Robinson, who has had to fill in with the injuries to Bowens and Chester. 7-0 New England against this Miami defense that, with a touchdown on the short field, a 30-yard drive. That's only the 4th score allowed, 4th touchdown by this Miami defense in 4 games plus this one. 3rd and 8 with Dillon emptying the backfield, and then Brady decides to tuck it away, and Jason Taylor ready along with Scanina.
Well, Jason Taylor, hard to play much better than he started this game. He's going against a really good player in Matt Light. But Jason Taylor has given Matt Light all he can have. Far side of your screen, starts upfield, works back underneath, and of course he's the beneficiary of Tom Brady being flushed out of the pocket, and he comes right to Taylor. But this is a good matchup here between Matt Light and Jason Taylor.
40-yard attempt now by Adam Vinatieri, who has been perfect this year. And in the hearts of Patriot fans, with his heroics in the Super Bowl, he's the perfect man.
He's BMOC around here, isn't he?
You bet. The former Jackrabbit at South Dakota State makes it 10-0. The defense going through their schooling procedure. How about the offense? Miami scores 7, loses to Tennessee 17-7. 13 against Cincinnati, lose by 3. Only 3 points against Pittsburgh, but gave up only 13 to the Steelers. Lost last week 17-9. Vinatieri's kick headed for the kick specialist in every way, Wes Welker. Out to the 34, but a flag flown in the midst of the pile as Don Davis, one of the special team stars for the Patriots, makes the hit.
Holding 66 of the return team during the run back.
It does compound itself, doesn't it?
First down.
Dick, that's such a case. If that was against New England, no big deal. Against Miami, big deal.
Speaking of cases, tonight on CBS, were the police wrong when they ruled a woman's death in accident 60 years ago? Find out a new episode of Cold Case tonight at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. From the 20. Henry. No gain. No way, says Keith Traylor, the 340-pound defensive tackle that replaces Ted Washington.
Dick, over on the Patriots sideline, we got Tom Brady with a scraped-up chin. Or is that blood coming from his nose? It might be coming out of his nose. He's definitely bleeding from either the nose or the mouth, which is he's not the first quarterback to have to do that during a game.
Almost looked like a bleeding dimple. That would have been really tough on the good-looking Brady.
Bleeding dimple.
Yep. That one right on the middle of his chin. 2nd and 10. Fiedler. Incomplete. No one open. Marty Booker close. Harmon, what do you have for us?
Well, guys, it's definitely not a dimple. It's down in that chin area, also inside Tom's mouth. They put some kind of solution in his mouth, and right now they're putting a bandage on the lower part of his chin. So he took a pretty good shot, and they're fixing him up. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Harmon. His looks are deceiving. This is a tough young man who at 27 is taken on all the responsibilities mentally and physically that make a quarterback great. Here comes the crowd on 3rd and 11.
They didn't get it off.
Why not another flag, huh? So Fiedler unable to get the snap in time.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's just an invitation. Invite the crowd on into the huddle.
That's right. They'll get louder now. 22 3-and-out drives, most in the NFL, and Miami now in their last 32 possessions have not scored a touchdown. 32. It's a lot of chances.
Invitation accepted by the crowd.
And Fiedler's bobbles the snap and just throws it wildly and almost intercepted by Asante Samuel.
Jay wasn't ready for the snap. Jay was still looking around in his pre-snap reads, and all of a sudden here comes the ball from Seth McKinney. Jay had not yet called for it, and he got it anyway.
What's a shame is that Marty Booker actually had beaten Samuel, but Fiedler just reared and fired and hoped. Turk high but short, and Falk fair catches. Looked to me like he was saying fair catch. Was waving both arms, but no flag is down. Flag is dropped back at the line of scrimmage. I guess he was waving stay away from the ball is what he's contending, waving at his waist, not over his head, which would be the fair catch signal. But it sounds like, or looks as if, Cooker saying we may have to go back and kick it over. He pointed back at the spot where the ball was punted. Excellent field position on the short kick at the 49.
Holding 96 of the kicking team. Penalty is declined. First down.
Just another penalty on Wanstead's Dolphins. David Bowens. And a timeout in Foxborough.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Old Spice. Spice things up. IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL. And by Ford Explorer, ready for any adventure.
And it's a happy mood here in Foxborough, a 10-0 lead.
Those are happening hats there. I like it.
Sweet. 49-yard line. Corey Dillon down to the 46 at a gain of 3. Well, this has been a long-standing rivalry in the AFC East, the Patriots and Dolphins. And on December 29, 2002, New England won 27-24 on a Vinatieri field goal. Then we swing forward to October 19th last year. Brady threw that 82-yard touchdown pass to Troy Brown in overtime, and even Belichick was excited with that win. Late season in the snow, it was time for Teddy Bruschi to skid into the end zone with the interception. The Pats shut out the Dolphins 12-0. Swinging out to Givens in the flat, and he's able to get the first down and more to the 37. Let's go to Greg Gumbel with this update.
Hey, Dick, tell me if this sounds familiar. Peyton Manning touchdown pass. 35 yards to Reggie Wayne. His 13th of the season. No team in the NFL has more total touchdowns than Manning has thrown for. It's 14-0 Colts over Oakland.
And, Greg, what a compliment that Reggie Wayne has become for Marvin Harrison. You can't just always double-team Harrison. That Wayne, look how open he was. Sayao on the blitz, but it goes the other way. And Dillon to the 33-yard line before Zach Thomas can put the shoulder into him.
Dick, you had mentioned this New England offensive line, and you used the word underrated, underappreciated, or whatever, but this has really become one of the real strengths and one of the backbones of this football team. They do not have an all-pro. They do not have a Hall of Fame player in there as of yet. But as far as playing as a unit, as 5 cohesive guys, these guys are getting it done.
Dillon behind that line. And a crowd of white jerseys, 5 men there to bury him at the 30-yard line.
And like Denver's offensive line, being able to move, being able to run is a key part of being an offensive lineman for the Patriots. And right there you get a good look at Dan Copen, the center, who comes out a la Kevin Mawai. Tom Ashworth, the right tackle, came all the way across the formation, got upfield and made a block. These guys are hostile, mobile, and agile.
Ooh. I'll go for that. 3rd down and 2. Right back to Patrick Pass in to take the carry, but he stopped short on one of those tackles where the ball carry going full speed, and all of a sudden, total momentum loss. Moreland Greenwood, Sammy Knight collaborated on the stop. So that'll bring up 4th and a long yard, and Bill Belichick sends out the field goal unit. There's Knight, played at Southern Cal and picked up from New Orleans a year ago after 6 years with the Saints.
How prideful a unit is this Miami defense?
Oh, you have to admire them, don't you?
Yes, you do.
This kick will be 47, depending on the spot. Already good from 40, Vinatieri. This one sliding to the right, no good. First miss of the year by Vinatieri after 7 in a row. And that should offer a little salve to that Miami defense playing so hard. Still 10-0. .9:19 left in the opening half. Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Armin Katayan at Foxborough. Patriots going for an NFL record 19 straight wins. Brock Forsey from Boise State, second-year running back in the backfield for the first time as Fiedler dumps underneath, complete to the tight end, McMichael, and McMichael slips 2 tacklers and drives inside the 45-yard line of New England. Ted Johnson finally got to him. Biggest gain of the game for Miami. Well, Monday, Dave's all new with New York's Melina Kanakaridis. CSI New York, plus the father-son team from American Chopper, and later this week, ooh, what a lineup. Billy Crystal will be along, and Jennifer Lopez. Dave's all new, all this week on CBS, America's most watched network. After only 4 yards of offense in the game, 19 from McMichael on the catch. Fiedler to the sideline, complete to Chris Chambers this time, and a flag down in the secondary of the Patriots. Ball spotted after what would be a 6-yard pass game. Mr. Kukar.
Asking Jay whether he wants to take the play or take the penalty.
Holding, 54 defense. That's an automatic first down after a 5-yard penalty.
So they lose a yard. They had 6 on the pass, but they get the first down, and that's the call.
Yeah, the down marker goes back to 1. That's a significant part of that.
Well, the ball deepest penetration for Miami to the 39-yard line with a somewhat sustained offensive drive here. Forsey straight ahead, and man from Meridian, Idaho, a walk-on in college at Boise State, but as a senior scored 32 touchdowns at Boise State, a program that has developed into a Division I nemesis for opponents. They are really good.
But I don't want to belittle Forsey, but what a litany of things of just unbelievable coincidences and circumstances that have befallen the running backs of Miami.
Forsey again.
This guy better be looking around because, after what's happened to Sammy Morris, to Travis Minor, to Lamar Gordon, and of course Ricky Williams not showing up. These are people that in his wildest dreams Dave Wannstedt never thought would be carrying the rock for Miami.
Yeah, they picked up Forsey when the Bears released him early in September. And how about the hard luck, Lamar Gordon? You give up a number 3 for St. Louis. He looks like he's going to really help Miami with Williams gone. He carries the ball 4 times, and now he's out for the season.
Yeah, he's on IR with a dislocated shoulder that he got in the Pittsburgh game.
Fiedler is going to call time. 7:03 remaining first half. 10-0 Pats.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. And by the coldest tasting beer in the world, Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 39.
Reminder coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Join Greg, Dan, Shannon, Boomer. All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Wes Welker, the new Dolphin, the free agent, never tried a field goal in college, of course, in the NFL, but this makes that 4-down territory. It's 3rd and 2. Give to Forsey, and he sprints outside. And the ex-Bronco of Boise State is all the way to the 16-yard line. He runs with some conviction, doesn't he?
He sure does. Just a little delay here. Fiedler with the delayed handoff, but excellent job, and especially a good block by left tackle Damian McIntosh, pinning the Patriots back to the inside. So here the Dolphins find themselves in unfamiliar territory. They're actually in the red zone, where unfortunately for Dave's club so far this year, they've only been 7 times, converting 2 of them.
Forsey, a workhorse. Or workforce. As Wilfork makes the tackle, and a gain of about 4, maybe 5. Forsey with the Bears as a rookie last year gained nearly 200 yards rushing. He's 5'11" and 210.
But you have to assume for Chris Furster, the offensive coordinator, and Dave Wannstedt, that this is touchdown or bust category. It's hard to believe that they would actually bring out a guy who's never attempted a kick in the NFL. This is touchdown or nothing, I would assume, for Miami.
2 tight ends to the right. That's Chambers in motion. And right back to Forsey. And they're plugging up the hole. This time at the 10 is Big Ty Warren, the 300-pounder, number 94 there to make the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Am I the only one having trouble envisioning a field goal attempt by Welker when they had to call back to his college to find out if he's ever done? I guess they didn't feel like asking him. This would be, now if they try it, there'll be some entertainment value included.
That's right. We may see historical, maybe even hysterical. Not a first half touchdown this season, Miami. As Fiedler throws, touchdown to Chambers. A beautiful catch by Chambers for his 2nd score of the year. And there's the first 6-pointer for the Dolphins, and they're in the game.
And Chris Chambers is split out as a wide receiver, and what a move he puts on, of all people, Ty Law. Watch this fake in, out, right there. He spins Law, and Ty Law just loses track of Chris Chambers. That was a beautiful move, and wow. Can you imagine how good that must feel to Jay Fiedler?
Chambers, who caught 11 touchdown passes last year, best in the AFC. And Welker drives it home. Wes Welker, 1 point in his NFL career. It's 10-7.
Who'd have thunk it?
Oh, my. Yeah. Monday on CSI Miami, a body is found in a golf bunker. Wait till you see how it got there. Don't miss a new episode, Monday's Most Watched Show, CSI Miami, 10, 9 Central, on America's Most Watched network, CBS.
I felt like dropping dead in a bunker a couple times.
They didn't find me. I finally had to come to life because no one cared. They didn't even rake me out of there.
Well, Miami is in this game. How good that must feel to the fish.
And here comes Welker. That's a little short, almost a pooch kickoff, and fair catch by Dan Klecko at the 29-yard line. Think about it, and you wonder if Welker's even, other than fooling around in practice, even tried. He kicks off with the entry to Olindo Mare. Why not return the kickoff? And that's his specialty, the kick and punt returns. And he bangs home the extra point to get in the NFL scorebook.
Maybe he can spell Zach Thomas for a couple of series on defense.
Bell first down the Patriots. Their lead cut to 3 with 5:15 remaining in this opening half. And Seau bluffing the blitz now backs off. And now he comes anyway. Brady steps up, throws deep down the middle. Patton was there. Pass was a little off. Sam Madison covering. Good pressure again on the quarterback, Brady, by David Bowens.
Yeah, Tom having to massage the pocket a little bit. The corner collapses. He comes up, but as he does, he doesn't move a lot, but he moves just enough. And David Patton, working his way downfield, gets inside the safety there, Sammy Knight, and Sam Madison also in on the play. But I don't know if he wasn't able to react back to the football, because it did appear that he was open enough for a completion.
Fake to Dillon, throw to Graham. And there's that big fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Miami. And now they're going to say incomplete pass. Oh, that's going to be interesting whether or not Dave Wanstead is right in front of him if he'll challenge.
Well, we'll get a good look at it, but keep in mind now, you not only have to catch it, but you must turn around and demonstrate a football move and move upfield with it. And I think this will stand as an incomplete. He's down with it. Ball's out too quickly, I think. And this, in the way the rule is being interpreted now, that's an incomplete pass. 5 years ago, I think that would have been a catch fumble. But now I think pretty clearly that's an incomplete pass.
Credit to Antoine Edwards, the safety, with making the hit that jarred the ball free. 3rd and 10. Brady, look at him hang in the pocket, and almost intercepted by Antoine Edwards again. So he makes the hit on the tight end Graham, and then almost one-hands the pick.
Tom Brady has a lot of confidence, and sometimes that confidence manifests itself in jamming the ball into tight places. And you can see, well, first of all, that should have been a flag, because Freeman, you're not allowed contact after 5 yards down the field. But it happened before Brady released the ball. He could have been flagged for that, but he wasn't.
Josh Miller's punt, a driving kick to Welker, the all-purpose Dolphin, inside the 20.
Are you kidding me?
And he's tackled at the 40, and he was close to breaking that one for a long gain. Wes Welker, Dexter Reed, a rookie from Carolina, made the tackle. He's making it fun for Miami fans. Well, folks, it's time to ask the big question. Who is the best running back in the AFC this year. Look at that line of Brown, Dillon, Holmes, James, Lewis, Martin, Tomlinson. You can cast your vote at NFL.com.
I think there's a whole lot of people here at Gillette Stadium right now that are thinking, well, something's not right here. We're actually looking at the Dolphins with a chance to take a lead.
Brock Forsey for about 3 to the 42-yard line. This Patriot crowd sold out, 68,000. It's been sellout ever since the owner, Robert Kraft, took over the reins of the franchise in 1994. Every seat is a chairback seat, no bleacher seats here. It's a fantastic stadium, Gillette Stadium. And, of course, it served as the home of the Super Bowl champs 2 out of the last 3 years. Looking for 19 wins in a row, but leading by only 3 late first half. Forsey. Vince Wilfork, is he playing a first half in the middle of that Patriot line, this rookie ex-Hurricane from Miami?
Well, a couple of years ago, 4 years ago to be precise, when Richard Seymour came in the league, it was apparent that he was going to develop into one heck of a football player. And I think those same expectations right now exist for Vince Wilfork. He's got that kind of potential, and he's got that much of an upside.
3rd down and 7 for Fiedler in the shotgun. Goes long. Incomplete, and Chambers almost the defender trying to keep Randall Gay away from his second interception of this first half.
But sometimes as a quarterback, that's the play you have to make. You got single coverage, and you just have to hope if you put the ball there that your receiver is going to come up and try to make a play. He identifies the single coverage right there. He sees that it's Chambers. He sees that it's Gay. So go ahead, throw the ball, and hope that your guy is the one that can make a play.
Kevin Fall drifts back inside the 15, and Matt Turk's going to gamble and run. Can he get there? No, and the Patriots take over at the 46 on downs in the Miami territory. Patrick Pass made the tackle.
Dave Wanstead looking at Matt Turk going, what was that? What, do you think, was this intentional? Or was it the snap? I think Matt Turk, with the snap a little bit to his left, just took off with the football. Unless I'm wrong, the look on Dave Wanstead's face is, what the heck was that?
The punt wasn't going to be blocked. Look, no. He had plenty of room to kick it.
Dave, I think I know Dave well enough to know he wouldn't put his defense in this position with just a couple minutes to go in the first half.
That's almost like a fumble recovery for New England at the 47. Corey Dillon patiently waiting and then skirting that left side. And Zach Thomas there to welcome him out of bounds. StatTrack says Dillon now with a half 100 in this first half.
Well, you can see right there that he's carrying on. Matt Turk is talking to Ed Perry, his long snapper, about the fact that the snap was just a little to the left. But Matt Turk, I think your assessment was right on, Dick. That punt would not have been blocked. He could have easily gotten that off.
2nd and 4. Dillon draw. Stuffed. Thomas came into the game with 58 tackles, and there's a skirmish downfield. Defensive back and receiver. Sammy Knight was the Dolphin involved. Might have been Big Daniel Graham or David Givens.
This was as the play was concluding, and then some. See if we can get a look at it. There's Givens, number 87, and he just comes in and blocks Sammy Knight, and then Sammy Knight comes. Sammy Knight throws a right cross.
Didn't land, but that doesn't matter.
He threw it.
So his teammates, you do all that hard work, you try to slow down New England, and then you give them the first down on a foolish play.
That was dumb. David Givens was coming in, making a block. It's a running play. That's what a wide receiver is supposed to do. I don't care what happens. I don't care if he comes in and hits you so hard that he knocks you down. You don't get up and take a swing.
It's 54 yards now in penalties given by Miami to their opponent today. 2:24 left in the half. First down at the 23. Dillon. Boy, that defense pursues. And Surtain up from the secondary helping out Jay Williams.
Well, Bill Belichick at the beginning of the game said, hey, this is Miami. I know they're 0-4, but we didn't play well against them last year. And even though we won both games, they were, one of those scratch-it-out deals to the very end. And at least that's what we're seeing here in the first half.
Fall in Foxborough. And a reminder coming up, the Nextel Halftime Report with Greg and Dan and Shannon and Boomer. All the latest NFL scores and highlights, the early games coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report. Well, the Dolphins had to check their calendar. They're saying, what are we doing here in October? The last 4 years they played New England here in December. Here's the screen pass, and it goes to Kevin Falk. That's his specialty, and he's all the way to the 5-yard line. So first and goal. 10-3, 10-7 the score. A 3-point lead for the Patriots, and now pounding on the door to get back the touchdown scored by Chambers earlier in this quarter.
I'm old school, I'll admit it. I think one of the prettiest plays in football is a well-executed screen pass. To get the linemen who do their blocking first and then slide out into coverage and then a well-executed look-off by the QB. Good-looking play.
Falk again. Oh, what a hit! Charging through with Sammy Knight, who is the man penalized at 15 yards for the personal foul. Listen to this one. That's more than plastic on plastic.
That's the way your strong safety is supposed to tackle. And yes, I would say that Sammy Knight, because of that penalty, has a little pent-up frustration that he just was able to let go of.
Corey Dillon back in, replacing Falk. Second and goal from the 5. Take to Dillon, throw over, touchdown Givens. David Givens, his first of the year.
Play action really means something if you've been effectively running the football. And when Tom Brady fakes it to Corey Dillon, it is an effective play action pass. And Miami just way too aggressive jumping the run. Twice now on both of New England's touchdown passes, it has been because a receiver has been turned completely loose by the Miami secondary. First Graham, now Givens.
Vinatieri adds the extra point. After the misfired run on the punt, 46 yards, 6 plays. Brady has his second touchdown throw of the game. And David Givens celebrates in Foxborough his first score of the year.
Right, yeah. That's kind of what...
17-7 with 36 seconds left in this first half. You see the 19 across the way. For those of you who weren't here at the top, Robert Kraft was built his empire here. Long-standing fan through his years. The old stadium in Foxborough in the worst of years and now the best of times for the New England fans.
If I bought a franchise in the National Football League, I would seek Bob Kraft's counsel. I would come and sit and learn as much as I could.
Welker from the 7. Stays on his feet somehow. And out to the 25-yard line with 30 seconds left in the half. Let's go back to that touchdown, Dan.
Well, remember the previous play, we saw the hard hit. Here's Givens right here, who's just going to run. But the problem, watch the play fake and watch this. Watch everyone from Miami honor the play fake to Corey Dillon. Look at the steps up. Look at that. And it's just too easy. It's too easy because threatening to give the ball to Corey Dillon really means something. It really is a play fake.
And let's see what Fiedler and Miami are thinking here with only a half minute left. And apparently they're not even going to take a chance with it. So that's kind of symbolic in a way of how things have gone. They're just going to be happy with 10-point deficit. And into the locker room before the gun sounds to end the first half.
And Dick, when is a turnover not a turnover? The Matt Turk, that goes down as a running play. That does not go down as a turnover, but that is a turnover. It gave New England field position, and they scored a touchdown afterwards.
And Ryan Mormon got away with that last week for Buffalo, but Turk failed today. That's the end of the first half here in Foxborough with a score 17-7. We'll be back with an XL halftime report after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Here at halftime, New England has won 25 straight games when they've led at halftime. They have a 10-point advantage over the Miami Dolphins. The NFL on CBS continues after this word from your local station. Ready for the second half, and again to underline the historical significance of this game. As you all know, Miami Dolphins in 72, the only team ever to go through an entire season undefeated, 17 in a row. But if New England wins today, they'll be the first ever in history to win 19 straight games, counting the playoffs.
And if you look at this game, it's kind of surprising, and I thought New England would do a little more offensively, and so you got to credit Miami defensively there, but offensively, Miami again just not getting anything done. If we look at the halftime stats, take a look at that, Dick. 67 total yards for Miami. Jay Fiedler's only 4 of 11, but this has hardly been an offensive explosion on either side of the ball. And if you look at the fantasy notebook, unless you have like New England's defense, I'm not sure you're going to be thrilled with much of the way of these numbers. As you can see, 40 yards passing, 76 yards passing for Tom Brady is awfully mediocre. Corey Dillon making something happen, and who would imagine that we'd be talking about Brock Forsey and his numbers for Miami, and here are the receivers.
And Wes Welker, you get a point on fantasy football for extra points, don't you?
Yeah, I think you do. And Chris Chambers, only 1 catch, but it was a beauty for the touchdown for the Dolphins.
There's Welker inside the 5 as Vinatieri has it teed up, and sun out now brightly on a magnificent fall afternoon in New England. Tough to beat when they lead at halftime, as we've indicated, and they enjoy a 10-point advantage as Welker circles at the 10. And gets cut off at the pass by Rabi Abdullah. Let's go down to Armin.
Well, Dick, no sooner did I mention the word mistake to Dave Wanstead than he just cut me off. He said, hey, listen, we have got to kick that ball, referring to Matt Turk's decision. He also said we cannot get involved in these pushing and shoving matches, referring to Sammy Knight. He said we're in this game. We've made a couple of big mistakes that they've turned into touchdowns, but I got to tell you, from the look of the Dolphins coming out of that locker room, this game is not over yet. Dick?
All right, Armin. 22-yard line, and Jay Fiedler goes to work. Brock Forsey, who showed some good running punch in that second quarter, stays in. Over the middle to Chambers. Incomplete. Ty Law got a hand in there and stripped it away.
Chris Chambers got up like he was going to argue that was a completed catch, and then he caught himself. He caught himself going, no, wait a minute, I don't think I want that to be a completed catch, which means it would be a fumble. Again, it's the Chambers on Law, and Ty Law gets a left hand right on the football, but Chris Chambers needs to put this away and keep it.
Didn't quite. No, well, that's close. Just as that second foot was coming down. No challenge. Miami's been shut out the entire season in this period. Out of the backfield, Rob Conrad, the fullback from Syracuse, gets rare touches. In fact, he had not carried the ball nor caught a pass this year until that short gainer.
You know, going back to that last pass by Chambers, I just want to remind everybody at home, and this will help you when you watch an NFL game, the officials are instructed that if there is any doubt in their mind as to whether the pass is complete or incomplete, they are to rule it an incompletion. In other words, you have to go above and beyond to demonstrate that you have caught the ball and held on to it and done something with it after the catch.
That last pass reception for 1 yard. Fiedler fires, complete, and spinning away, almost dangerously so for New England. Marty Booker, former Bear, came to Miami this year in the trade for Wally Ogunleye, the pass rusher who went to Chicago.
And that time Booker one-on-one locked up with Asante Samuel, who's filling in for Tyrone Poole, who was scratched at game time because of an injury. So if the choice is Ty Law or Samuel, I think Samuel's the choice.
At Brock Forsey gets off the blocks in a hurry, and in terms of his quick first step, gets 3 yards on the carry. You saw Booker continues his consecutive streak of catching a pass.
Now, Marty Booker had that sensational year with the Bears back in 2002 where he had 97 receptions. He went to the Pro Bowl for the NFC.
And the year before he had 100. So he's had a couple big-time seasons. So far, just 11 catches in that Miami uniform this year. And that one's blown dead on a false start. And it looked as if Fiedler was going to buy himself some time on the roll and try to go long.
That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And for most of this game, with a couple exceptions after a penalty, the Miami offense hasn't had to really work fighting the crowd here at Gillette Stadium. This crowd is, I don't know if it's because Miami is winless, but they're just they're kind of sitting back taking this in when they could be making it a lot more difficult for Miami offensively.
After the penalty, 2nd and 12. You see the scores down the bottom of your screen. And Detroit trying to end Atlanta's excellent start. Falcons 4-0. Fiedler. And it's Marty Booker again. And he's wrestled down just shy of the 40-yard line. Be 3rd down and 6 or 7 to go.
And this game has to, if it's going to be won for Miami, somehow Jay Fiedler is going to have to do it through the air. When is Jay at his most effective? I think he's got to get out of the pocket. Jay is an agile guy, a mobile guy, and against this New England defense, Jay told us himself, he said, I'm not afraid to try to win this thing with my feet.
Strength to the left, Forsey in the backfield. They need 6 for a first down. Steps away from the rush, and there are the feet in action. And the former decathlete fumbles the ball, and New England has recovered. Oh, my. A great effort by Fiedler ends in a turnover to the Patriots. Rodney Harrison knocked it free, and Reed recovered.
Jay Fiedler has the pocket collapse, and again, he hurdles over, but Rodney Harrison puts a helmet right on the football as Fiedler's coming back down.
Welcome back. While at Dartmouth, Fiedler was a decathlete, aspired to compete in the Olympics. He showed some tremendous athletic ability there. You can see he can throw, and he ran and hurdled, and unfortunately for the Dolphins, loses the ball on the Harrison hit. So from the 48 of Miami, Brady play action, steps forward, goes long, and it's Givens, incomplete. What a late move by Sam Madison to dive in front of the ball, and he almost picked it off.
Well, this is a large play from Sam Madison because Sam Madison has the receiver on the other side of the field. Sam Madison is nowhere near David Givens. He's covering a receiver on the other side of the field. He comes all the way across the field to make this play. Now that's playing team defense for Sam Madison. That's unbelievable.
Almost rewarded with his 30th career interception. A flag down. The Dolphins were offside, and Dillon tackled after a couple-yard gain. And here's a block thrown downfield, and a good one by Daniel Graham. They separate the two players. No harm done.
Sam Madison takes a hit saying he's lost a step and maybe he's not the shutdown corner he used to be, but that piece of hustle showed me a little something.
That was a Pro Bowl play, wasn't it? He's been there 4 times.
Offside, the defensive left end. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
David Bowens jumped offside. You look at Sam Madison, 29 career interceptions, a couple of touchdowns. His counterpart on the other side, Pat Surtain, a bit younger, but he already has 25, and with 2 already this year, 27 interceptions, a couple touchdowns. 7th Miami penalty. You just can't give them the yards that way when you're 0-4, but that's part of the story. Now Dillon to the 40-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Well, the Miami defense struggling after a familiar set of circumstances, a turnover, and here it is from the left. Watch Rodney Harrison come in right here, his helmet right and shoulder pad right on the football. Jay Fiedler kind of in a defenseless. He's coming back down, struggling to regain his balance, and didn't quite get the football secured the way it should have been after that hurdle. You know what? If he just falls down, Miami still has the ball, but he fumbles because of an extra effort.
On 3rd and 2, Dillon breaks the tackle of Zach Thomas down the sidelines. Look at him barrel all the way to the 5-yard line, and they love it in Foxborough.
Folks, that's a good second-round draft choice.
Think he'll make it in this league?
That's a pretty good second-round draft choice. Right here is the key play because Zach Thomas doesn't get a chance to wrap up. He just hits him with his shoulder pad, and look at the lick that Corey Dillon, after tight roping the sideline, and which is, by the way, a heck of a play not going out of bounds, he just lowers the boom on Sam Madison.
1st and goal at the 4, and Rabi Abdullah into the game. He gets the handoff and straight ahead for 2 yards. Abdullah from Lehigh, and that's only his 2nd carry of the season.
I called Dillon a second-round draft choice because that's all New England had to give to the Cincinnati Bengals to acquire the services of this stellar running back. Dick, he's Bill Belichick saying, look, he was disgruntled in Cincinnati, but all he wanted to do is win. Around here, we view that as a plus.
Former New York Giant and Green Bay runner Abdullah stays in. And into the middle of the line and right into the teeth of that defense. And Zach Thomas and Moreland Greenwood make the tackle. Thomas trying to dig for the ball. Would be 3rd and goal. Well, they nickname for Corey Dillon. And it was interesting because we asked Dillon, what is your nickname? A guy that's a good runner like you should have a nickname. And he said, it's funny, Tom Brady calling me Rock. And he said, without even knowing it, when I played Pee-wee ball, they called me Rock. So Brady even has that 6th sense. Well, he ran like a rock that last carry. Fake to Abdullah. Brady all day throws. Incomplete to Graham. There was a push in the end zone. Graham seemed to be as much a part of it as Greenwood was in covering him.
Pass interference, 52 of the defense.
But when you're 0-4, the goal doesn't go your way.
The ball on the 1-yard line.
Well, they called pass interference, which means the contact came after the ball was in the air. Tom Brady looking, nothing even remotely resembling a Miami pass rush.
Well, you can't see the contact there.
The ball actually hits Moreland Greenwood on the shoulder pad. But first of all, the fault goes back to the fact that Tom Brady stood there for 5 or 6 seconds and still wasn't challenged.
Abdullah has his first touchdown as a Patriot. And in fact, in his career, his 7th season out of Lehigh, that is his first touchdown, Rabi Abdullah. His dad, Richard Souls, Shaheed, played ball in the league with the Giants in Green Bay. Abdullah was undrafted out of Lehigh by Tampa Bay, has migrated to New England, and primarily a special teams player with the Bears the last couple of years. the first today individually in terms of scoring. Abdullah joining that NFL touchdown.
Again, it's just pounding it in there. Just power football off the left side.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game. And by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
"23 minutes from history, but who's counting?"
They are.
Right up to date with the score and all the victories, 18 in a row. Going for 19 as Vinatieri spins one to Walker at the 11. Has to wait for his wedge. Skitters out across the 35-yard line. Timeout. 8:19 left in the third. Reminder, fans, top international male and female bikers convene in Austin, Texas for the Jeep King of the Mountain World Professional Mountain Bike Championships here on CBS Next.
If I had to ride uphill on a bike, it would look like laughing. I would fall off after about 20 feet.
It would hurt me to watch. The handoff to Chambers did not fool the Patriots. Mike Vrabel was in the backfield. It just forced it wide, and then Asante Samuel came up to make the tackle for a loss.
Well, it only works. Your only chance, first of all, is if you're running the football well to freeze everybody. But it works against a defense that doesn't honor their responsibilities. And this New England Patriot defense, everyone in the league knows, is smart. They are disciplined. They stay at home until they see the football is gone. Dead play.
Sammy Morris, 5-year veteran from Texas Tech, now at running back. Throw underneath, short yardage to the 40 to Chambers. How about the travails of Fiedler today?
Well, Jay Fiedler came into this game with a 30 quarterback rating, and it's not being helped at all today. There he throws an interception underneath the Randall Gay. And then he comes back, though, with a nice touchdown to Chris Chambers. And Miami Dolphins were looking like they're in the game. And then Jay, just a hustle play, trying to make something happen. Instead of criticizing Fiedler, go ahead and really praise Rodney Harrison for one heck of a defensive play. But this has been a really horrific year for Jay Fiedler so far.
3rd and 7. Steps away from McGinnis, then throws underneath. Good leaping effort by Darius Thompson, and first down as he invades New England territory to the 44-yard line.
And a good job by Jay Fiedler of staying alive. Jay Fiedler works the field, buys a little extra time, ends up paying for it, and then ends up flat on his back. But he finds an open receiver, and that is Rodney Harrison. Went for the old double leg kick when he went to the ground. he did.
Looks like a gymnastics move. Spin right up into a handstand.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing neither one of those feet connected on Darius Thompson. He would not have enjoyed that at all.
15-yard play for the first down. Fiedler, quick hitter, complete to Brian Gilmore. Gilmore from Midwestern State, same school that produced Dominique Rhodes to the Indianapolis Colts.
And there's another one of those hits that we could hear up here in the press box. Guess who delivers it? You're right, Rodney Harrison. That's a cruncher.
First down yardage, nevertheless, at the 34-yard line. Miami has not scored a point in the third quarter all year. Outscored 37-0. Down the middle, almost intercepted by Vrabel. Bruschi was the one who deflected the ball. It was there for a moment as Vrabel reached, but it fell harmlessly.
Ted Bruschi just sitting on the pattern, works underneath. He goes underneath McMichael and just gets his left hand on it. Luckily for Jay Fiedler, that ball was thrown to where Teddy Bruschi, who is just a ball magnet, you know, his middle name, it ought to be Big Play.
Yeah, he is one of those, isn't he? He produces. That's Sammy Morris to the 30. Indianapolis, Oakland. What's up there, Greg Gumbel?
Dick Peyton Manning with 3 touchdown passes today, looking for 4, but Philip Buchanan, the outstanding young DB for the Raiders, gets in the way of this one, makes the interception. It is still a 21-7 Colt lead, just over 4 minutes to play in the third.
Well, that's almost on cue when you talk about big play. That young Buchanan, he makes some plays for you defensively.
When we went to Greg, I went, oh my gosh, did Peyton Manning throw his 4th one?
24-7 here. Fiedler underneath on the dump off, and it goes to Randy McMichael, the tight end. He's toppled at the 25-yard line, and that'll be close. They're going to mark it closer to the 24, and that will bring in the chain gang to see if it is indeed a first down.
Rodney Harrison was arguing vociferously that he got the tackle on the other side of the 25-yard line. He was really putting up a pretty hefty argument that his tackle down the receiver on the left side of the line as we look at it.
No, it's a good distance yet, a half yard on third down. Talking about Harrison, it just delights me because we all growing up have our athletic heroes and somebody we admire more than others, and it's true of these guys. Here's a tough football player, Rodney Harrison. You think he liked Ronnie Lott a little bit? He still has Lott's rookie card, and the first thing you see when you go into his basement is Ronnie Lott's signed jersey. Respect to the man that he tried to copy his game.
Gosh, if I was a defensive back, why would I want to be like Ronnie Lott? Maybe it's because of that bust of his in Canton, Ohio.
It could be.
Does that have something to do with it?
Talk about playing with passion. Conrad and Morris behind Fiedler on 4th and a half yard. There was movement before the snap. No play, no play. It appeared that Damian McIntosh, false start.
And for the first time in a long time, credit the crowd here at the Razor.
77 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
7 points, 9 penalties for Dave Wanstad's Dolphins.
Damian McIntosh right here in the middle. There he is. They had it. Rob Conrad was just wide open. That would have been a very, very easy conversion for a first down.
Well, that's uncharacteristic of Miami team. Second in the league, most penalties. Now the job tougher for Fiedler. 4th and 5.5. And he has to call time. And probably wisely so. 4:02 left in the third quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. And by Wachovia. Together, we can achieve uncommon results.
Well, it's a must on Sunday nights at 7 Eastern, 60 minutes, and Queen Latifah is going to tell it like it is. Tonight's edition. Join us at 7 Eastern and Pacific time. They've called in. It's a good look.
The Minutemen?
They've called in support as if they need it. 4th and 5+. The quick throw is complete to Marty Booker. The quick slant, and he got away from Asante Samuel, and with it a first down. Great throw by Fiedler.
Yeah, well executed play, but we've got not only that, but a personal foul that's going to be tacked on at the end of this play.
They came with a full blitz.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 93 of the defense. Half the distance from the end of the run, first down.
Well, Richard Seymour is going to come right up in the middle of your screen. He takes a good, well, that's close. In fact, he actually catches the flag. But Richard puts his shoulder down and buries Jay Fiedler. Excellent throw by Fiedler and Booker. Nice combination.
First and goal, the full 10 yards to go for Miami. Morris slammed down at the line of scrimmage, and it's the kid Will Fork again. Vince Wilfork from Miami, number 75.
Sammy Morris was injured in their opening game against Tennessee. Another one of the running backs that Miami was really counting on to be productive. And you can see that it has been a struggle to run the football at 54 yards for the Dolphins, and I'm afraid that's going to be an ongoing saga this entire year.
Yard loss on first down. Morris again finds a hole, and now they bulldog him down at the 5-yard line. A good job by Ty Law to straighten him up, and Eugene Wilson and others to help out on the tackle.
Ty Law looks like he's limping a little bit as he heads back in. Good hole there by the left side of the Miami offensive line. Some great blocks. Yeah, Ty Law right about now is going, hey, wait a minute, where's the help? Where is everybody? Remember, Ty Law had a chronic ankle problem last year. And Ty Law's hurt. He's going to have to come out.
Well, they've already playing without the services of Tyrone Poole, the other corner. Let's go down to Armin Kateyan.
Well, just a quick observation, Dick. It's his right hamstring. I was watching the play and had my eyes on Ty, and he grabbed right behind the back of his right leg. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Armin.
Well, you could see that he was really straightening out his leg and really putting a lot of force into trying to hold up Sammy Morris there by himself until his helpers got there.
Blue line of scrimmage, third down from the 6, and the flag goes down and contact, and Roosevelt Colvin just knocked Randy McMichael on his back.
Well, McMichael flinched. And Colvin, not waiting to see, he was going to force the issue by going over and hitting. All the way on the left. You see that? You see the move by McMichael, and then Colvin just comes over and says, well, I'll make sure that everybody knows who it was.
That runs the penalty count to 10 for 76 yards against the team most penalized, New England. Only 3 penalties today. So it's a 12-yard line. The ball is spotted, third down.
Ty Law is back in the game, Dick.
And he's out here on the defensive left side. And Chris Chambers started in that direction, and delay here. 2:06 remaining in the third period. Rodney Harrison runs to the sidelines. Harrison voted by his teammates as defensive captain along with Richard Seymour. They respot the ball. They had it at the 12. They mark it now at the 11. Chambers, who has Miami's only touchdown, out to the right. Ty Law on him.
Boy, you'd think maybe you'd want to test him.
They're going that way. And not close. So Law well covered.
Yeah, but that's a smart move by Miami to find out if Ty Law can run. Let's watch him and see how he does. That pass had absolutely no chance of completion as it's thrown clear out of the end zone. But, boy, that's kind of a gingerly finish there by Ty Law. He's not wanting to put a lot of weight on it. And, Dick, check this out.
Look, Maury injured before the game. Welker trying a 29-yard field goal. And he hits it. This kid must be some athlete. Never kicked one in college or pros. He probably, before the practice starts, tries a few just for fun.
I have some expert analysis here. Are you kidding me?
Well, here's a young guy not drafted at all. San Diego signed him as a free agent. The Chargers didn't want to let him go. He made it to the last cut, and Miami wisely picked him up, and it appears they've not only got themselves a threat as a kick returner, and he was brilliant in college at Texas Tech, but he's got a pretty nifty left foot. Called on in emergency, gets it down to the 10-yard line to Kevin Casper, and Casper to the 30-yard line. Well, the scoring began, Dan, when Brady found Daniel Graham. 5 touchdowns for Graham. Now first Welker. Well, there's a taste of some of the scoring summary, and earlier Graham got it started 7-0, and then the Welker story. But it hasn't been enough to blunt the effort of New England going for 19 straight wins, leading 24-10. And it's Patrick Pass getting a carry. Zach Thomas yet another tackle, as he'll be among the league leaders again, as he is each season. Been Miami's #1 hit man for 7 consecutive years. Then he chips in with 15 career interceptions and 4 touchdowns. And a proud guy, this Zach Thomas.
You better believe it.
Pass still in there, takes the toss, and takes the hit from Junior Seau.
I was so impressed, Dick, when we talked to Zach, talking about what a disparity there is on this team between the level that the defense plays the game and the level where the offense is. And I said, is it hard? Do you have to, as one of the leaders of this team, really work to keep it from becoming, a concern between the two units? He goes, hey, look, in the Cincinnati game as a defense, we had a chance to win the game, and Cincinnati marched right down the field on us. So, you know what? It's a team game, and we've made our share of mistakes, too. I thought that was a stand-up move on his part.
Yeah, a lot of players would complain about the offense. Brady fires to Gibbons. Does he come down with the ball? No. Well, you had a season you best forget. Didn't you start 0-8 1 year with the Cardinals?
Yes, I did. So I know where these guys are. It sounds trite, but I feel their pain. Yes, 0-8. Just think about that. 0-8. That is the equivalent of a baseball team being winless at the All-Star break.
And I bet you thought about that.
Yes, it's things are awfully lonely when you're not winning. Restaurants are losing out on business because the players are hiding out at home.
Well, Josh Miller, and here's the man Welker again, back at the 17. Spin move to the 25-yard line. And Miami down by 2 touchdowns. As we remind you, tonight on CBS begins, of course, with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes, followed by a new episode of Cold Case, and then Kirstie Alley stars in While I Was Gone, our Sunday night movie premiere. It's all tonight on CBS. Sunday nights, good night to tune in to America's most watched network.
Well, two touchdowns down is not, it's not insurmountable for some teams. For Miami, it must look like an awful lot. But again, stranger things have happened.
That's why they play the game and why they made that a funny size ball.
And it's why everyone is still here.
Brock Forsey now the running back. And the pass complete. Chambers another grab, but quickly on his back was Ty Law. As we come down to the final seconds of the third period. Interestingly, we didn't see Corey Dillon in that last series for New England. We'll go to Arm and get a report when we come back. That's 3 in the books here in Foxborough. 24-10 the score. We'll return to Gillette Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Here's the history that we're following. The Bears twice, Dolphins, 49ers, and Broncos, and now the New England Patriots, the only teams ever to win 18 in a row. So a victory for the Patriots sets them as the longest winning streak in NFL history. It's not an NFL record, however, because playoffs are included, but that doesn't dilute at all the accomplishment of this New England franchise.
No, and that's why I think the Patriots players and coaches and management are going, that's really nice. Richard Seymour had a great line. There's no Super Bowl trophy for winning 19 in a row. Bill Belichick has this team focused on a Super Bowl. Anything short of that is not important. And he's sold them that 19 in a row. Hey, someday, I guess, be nice to look back at it and say that was cool. Certainly not a priority.
Yeah, Seymour said it'd be a nice reunion for us 20 years from now. That's forced. He rejected initially, and he spins through on second effort and picks up the first down. Will Fork with another hit in the middle of that New England defense. Now, to win all your games in a season, the pressure building up there, and New England players gave full credit, as did Belichick, to what Miami accomplished, and the only team ever to do that in 72 to go 17-0 in a season.
Well, I don't know that we'll ever see another perfect season. Obviously, we've only since Miami did it in 72, but just keep in mind there are 2 more games now in the regular season, so it's even harder than it was in 72.
And first down. Fiedler, that's the most time he's had all day, and can't come up with a completion as Chamber is hawked by McGinnis, who faded off the line of scrimmage.
And here is the standard bearer, the perfect season of 72.
Zonka, Greasy.
Well, one Hall of Famer after another. Keep in mind Jim Langer, Larry Little, Nick Bonacani, Paul Warfield. What a team full of superstars. My buddy Jim Mandich, who's in the booth next door broadcasting for Miami. It was magic. And to do it now, of course, means 19-0. Another 2 games, like it's not tough enough already.
2nd and 10 for Fiedler. Slant incomplete. You didn't mention one name. The star of the Super Bowl when they beat the Redskins 14-7, or at least he was the star for Washington.
Gary Yepremian. Yeah, that was the defense wasn't very happy with Garrow there. They were pitching a shutout against the Redskins. They did defensively pitch a shutout. Wasn't that 14-7? Was that the score of that game? Yeah.
That was the hot potato by Yepremian. I happen to want to get it off my hands.
Yeah, he's not invited to any of the Dolphins' defensive reunions, I can tell you that.
All right, 3rd and 10 from the 37. Here comes McGinnis. Gets him. Fumble. And let's see who fell out. I believe the big rookie.
Vernon Carey might have it.
He did. Number 72 at the bottom of the pile saved another fumble turnover.
Well, Willie McGinnis at the top of your screen, he's working against Vernon Carey, and he just gets around the corner, and Jay Fiedler is just locked up downfield. Talk about the old and the wise going against the young and the fresh. That's Willie McGinnis and Vernon Carey.
There's a flag downfield, and so the Dolphins on a penalty in the secondary are going to pick up the first down anyway. They move it to the 42-yard line. Belichick, puzzled look.
Well, he's just so upset by the number of penalties that this team is getting. He is a little bit confounded by it all happening. Remember Rodney Harrison saying he just wishes this team had more of a killer instinct?
Yeah.
So we just let them hang around.
And that's the case here, although it is a 24-10 lead. But Fiedler and Miami, another 4 downs. And that pass way off the mark to Donald Lee, the backup tight end. Zero and 4 for the Miami Dolphins, and you have to go all the way back to their very first year, 1966, when they went 0-5 en route to a 3-11 season under George Wilson was the head coach.
That's what you'd expect from an expansion franchise.
2nd and 10. It's Forsey, Brock Forsey, short gain, and it's a short distance down to New York, and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, in Indianapolis, Peyton Manning's thrown 3 touchdown passes. Edgerrin James gets in on the fun. 1-yard run to stretch Indy's lead to 28-7. They're under 10 minutes to play in the 4th. Dick and Dan.
I like that. Stretch the lead with a stretch handoff to Edgerrin James.
Hey, Greg Gumbel knows what he's doing. Not his first rodeo either.
No, and just handling those other 3 guys. He should get bonus points. He'll get a big Christmas bonus, I'm sure. 3rd down. Down the middle, and he finds the tight end. McMichael breaks out of a tackle, and finally, and then to the 20, fumbled the ball and recovers it. Oh, would that have been rubbing salt in the wound if he'd have lost it after that effort?
Who poked that out from behind? Was that Samuel that did that? Yes, or was it Harrison? They were both there. Let's take a good close look at this. First of all, tremendous job here. Look at the power by McMichael as he just bowls over Eugene Wilson. But the ball's going to get
Samuel.
It is Samuel that pops it out. And that was a tremendous play by Asante Samuel, deliberately poking the ball out.
A remarkable recovery by McMichael. And a gain of 34 yards, and then Forsey on first down for about 4. Keith Traylor tripped him up.
And this crowd sitting in this stadium is very well aware of the fact that if somehow Miami gets in the end zone, we're down to a one-score football game. Again, the Miami Dolphins are hanging around. They have not been put away.
Second and 6. Plenty of time, just under 11 minutes to go. Forsey runs into a 340-pound mountain of a man, Keith Traylor.
I think they're going to bring Randy McMichael over to try to trap McMichael to trap Traylor. Listen to this hit. Listen. They actually were going to try a tight end trap. And before McMichael could even get there, Traylor's 3 yards upfield. Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator, goes, yeah, that's the way I drew it up.
3rd and 10. Running out of time, down to 2. They just get it off. Fiedler, incomplete, too tall for Booker. Yeah, that's too far for Welker, you would think, to try a field goal. Maury injured, re-injured, in fact, in the warm-up, was carted back to the locker room before the game began. Welker has been remarkable in his place, but this is this would be about a 38-yarder. That's asking too much. Besides, they need some points, more than 3 here. 4th and 10. To the end zone. Incomplete. It had Darius Thompson hit him in the hands, but he couldn't hold on.
Well, Jay Fiedler found the guy he wanted to go to, Darius Thompson, but look at the crowd. Eugene Wilson goes up in front of it. After that, he didn't have much of a chance.
We're back in New England with a reminder that Thursday on CBS, an unexpected twist will rock the two tribes, and then an earthquake will shake the island. It'll be a true test of survival. Don't miss America's most watched reality show, Survivor, Thursday, 8, 7 Central on CBS. From the 21 on first down, Brady. Thompson then goes long for Patton, off his fingertips. A pass that he probably feels he should have caught. Flag is down back where Brady threw the ball.
I think back to Zach Thomas saying, I hate it when New England has a lead because they're so doggone aggressive. They never sit on it. Here they are, 2 touchdowns up, and what do they do on first down?
28 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Corey Dillon, so Dillon obviously is healthy. He's back in the game.
Well, it's just single blocking. You got a corner blitz at Sam Madison, and you can see Dillon. Oh, well, there it is right there. The first part of that block was okay, but then when Madison was trying to fall back and get after Tom Brady, Dillon just locked up, and boy, that was so easy to see.
Patrick Pass now in the backfield for New England. Here, deep in his own end, and again he flirts with some danger and then throws it away, and another flag is down.
I think right about now, Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator, would like to start this series over with a running play.
Let's just roll it back here.
Yes.
Illegal block in the back. 67 offense. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Center Dan Copen.
Well, you really can't criticize Charlie because the reality of it all is that Tom Brady put the ball right on David Patton's hands, and it should have been a long completion.
We were talking about Charlie Weiss, and Zach Thomas said, you know, the trouble with that Weiss is we try to find a tendency, and everything's 50-50. He must really self-check himself. Inside handoff. And it's Patrick pass for short yardage. Harmon, what have you been cooking down there?
Well, you know, Dick, when the Patriots were looking for what they call their ultimate quarterback, they came up with 4 different factors. The first one, the quarterback had to be the mentally toughest and the hardest worker on the team. 2, he had to take a big hit, walk back into the huddle, and call the next play. 3, handle the pressure and scrutiny that goes with the position. And 4, complete passes under pressure. Well, that turned out to be a portrait of Tom Brady, who one of the coaches said fits him to a T. And Brady said, well, if that's so, why'd you draft me 199th?
Yeah, that's right. The 7th quarterback taken. He was a 6th-round pick out of Michigan. Pass. And he's close to a first down on 3rd down, but is stopped 3 yards shy by Edwards and Poole. And look at his record. This is his 50th regular season start. And he has a 75.5, and that doesn't count the 6-0 mark in postseason.
Well, of course, his competition, just a couple of stiffs. Roger Staubach and Joe Montana.
Easy to jump ahead of them.
Oh, sure. What's the big deal about that? That is, just think about what you just saw, folks. That's some rarefied air where Tom Brady's finding himself.
The elite company. That's royal stuff. And there's
that looks like a false start on the Patriots. Unless they're going to say that the defense tried to entice him. You know, it's the old Neil Smith rule. If the defense flinched and they think it was an intent to draw you offsides, they'll call him for it.
And that'll be a first down for New England.
Offside, 54 defense, so neutral zone infraction. 5-yard penalty. That results in first down.
Well, this now becoming self-destruction. You give New England another 4 downs.
Remember, if you're a defensive player and they think that you flinch, let's watch it in the middle. If you do that, and that in and of itself causes the offensive guy to move. If you're in the neutral zone when the offensive guy moves, that is offsides defense. Wow.
Old Zach Thomas trying to do something, but it only allowed New England to keep the ball.
First down, a running play.
Pass rejected.
No, but the clock runs.
And it runs to the 8-minute mark. You check your game stats down below, and Minnesota's lead against Houston now 7. Nice feature on Game Track. You get the scores and the individual highlights down below anytime you want to check it out. And, of course, the stats on our game with the score on the top of your screen. Dillon taking a breather now, and Patrick pass about as much as work as you'll see, although now it's Rabi Abdullah. Brady hurrying, beating the clock. Abdullah, his first NFL touchdown earlier in the game. In his 7th season, Zach Thomas greets him at the 38-yard line. And what's the news in New York? Let's go to Greg.
All right, Dick, when you think Indy, you're thinking Peyton Manning, but this time it's Kerry Collins with a perfect 21-yard strike to Courtney Anderson. The lead is cut in half. Indy's lead over the Raiders is now 28-14, guys.
All right, we see you at 6 minutes and change remaining in that game as the Colts endeavor to go 4-1. Patrick Pass, who was an outstanding baseball player in high school and at Georgia. And looking for a fastball here. And he found one he could run with. And all the way to the Miami 39-yard line. But there is a flag on the play.
There was a suspicious-looking block taking place over there on the far side. I think was that Casper over there involved in that?
Number 10 of the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the fall. Still 3rd down.
Well, let's take a look at this block here. Kevin Casper working against Sam Madison. All right, he goes for the cut. That's fine. Oh,
not so fine.
That was not so fine. Sam Madison, everything was fine until Sam Madison tried to get up and run away, and just that little instinctive grab where he grabbed Madison by the calf. Boy, that's a shame. That negated a big play for the Patriots, and again, another penalty. Bill Belichick is, if they win this game, he still has plenty of reason to rail about the penalties.
New England calls the timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by new Campbell's Chunky Chili, mouthwatering chili that's worthy of any tailgate party. IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
New England leads 24-10 despite a substandard performance by Brady. Look at that, 76 yards is all today.
Well, and he's a 62% passer, and on the day today, Dick, 7 of 18, well below 500.
2 of the 7, however, touchdowns to give New England the lead.
That helps.
And no catches. Patton Wells covered by Sam Madison. Well, 2 Super Bowls in 3 years for 52-year-old Bill Belichick, who is in his 30th year of coaching. That's right, 52, and he's been coaching in the NFL for 30 years. Started...
How old was he when he started?
22 when Ted Marcher brought him. But he was really coaching with his dad at the Naval Academy. His dad assistant coach there many years. Josh Miller gets Walker at the 25-yard line. The last team to win 18 consecutive NFL games, the 97-98 Denver Broncos. A good predictor. They went on to win the Super Bowl both seasons. Back with our producer Mark Wolf and director Bob Fishman, Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Armin Catane. You saw Bill Belichick talk about his Super Bowl celebration after this play. Underneath goes Fiedler, and a first down catch across the 35-yard line to Marty Booker. Well, we all have our favorite libation. In case you're wondering, a bottle of 90 Bordeaux. That'd be just fine, thank you, but that's about me. What do you do after you win a Super Bowl? What is your call then? Well, Fiedler, short pass to Chambers, complete. So Belichick goes after that incredible 32-29 exciting win against Carolina in the Super Bowl, goes back to his room, hotel, celebrate with a glass of water and 2 aspirin. That'll be just fine. That's all I wanted.
He had a headache. He had a headache. He sweats all day. He's got that headphone on, all the noise, and the assistant coach is upstairs pounding in his ear. I don't blame him. When you got a headache, baby, you just want to get rid of that.
You can imagine the level of intensity for 3 hours plus.
How about 6 months plus leading up to that?
Fiedler to the sideline, and the catch by Chambers, and boy, was that close. Ty Law was looking for that New England tying interception, and he came close.
Well, let's not kid ourselves. This New England secondary knows that Miami doesn't really have anybody who can really stretch the field. And yes, that was close. Ty Law looked like he had an arm around Chambers before the ball even gets there, but he was sitting on that pattern.
3rd and 1. Sideline route is off the mark, intended for Booker, and that'll bring up 4th down. And at this point, 4:49 down by 2 touchdowns. One would think Wanstead has to go for.
Oh, you have to. Jay Fiedler, look at that number at the top there. You saw he's 17 of 33. Nice recovery when you consider that at halftime he was 4 of 11. Those numbers stuck to my mind. 4 of 11 at halftime. So Jay has had a more productive second half throwing the ball.
Sammy Morris in the backfield with Fiedler. Shotgun, 4th and 1. They jam up the middle. And they go long. And complete along the sidelines to Booker. Looking back into the sun and able to grab it away from Eugene Wilson.
Boy, Eugene Wilson has outstanding coverage on Marty Booker. Watch this. He's in his hip pocket. It's just that Wilson does not know where the ball is. Eugene Wilson never turns around, never gets a chance to locate the football, and Marty Booker with an all-hands catch. How sweet was that?
And a first down at the 29. Well, they wasted a 34-yard play. Randy McMichael on their last series couldn't come up with points. That one's good for 26 down the middle. And incomplete, knocked away, flag down in the secondary. And I believe we had illegal contact. Darius Thompson twice has had his hands on one in the end zone, but tough catch chances. And that's one of the reasons, Harrison.
Illegal contact, 21 defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Randall Gay, the rookie that picked off his first NFL interception in the first half. There's an example, personifies the Belichick and the great scouting program and the way this franchise is operating. Here's a kid, LSU, isn't drafted. And here he is playing significant time, makes a big play. They just seem to uncover more rocks than others.
No, Scott Pioli and Bill Belichick and their personnel department, they're setting a pretty good pace.
On first down after the penalty, down the middle, incomplete. They're trying to get it to Thompson as they work the center of the field.
Well, Darius Thompson, the tallest of the wide receivers for Miami at 6'2". And so he's a little bit more of an inviting target. He's a good leaper.
Now look at that. It's a little surprising, that total yard statistic. You would think the game would be closer as Miami leads in yards in the game, but down by 14 where it really counts.
Well, New England's they haven't passed for any yards, Dick.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, complete this time to Thompson, or Booker it is, and he pays the price. A solid tackle.
Eugene Wilson, the safety that all this happens in front. There's Wilson in the back upper right-hand corner of your screen. See how he gets a chance to. He's moving forward. Marty Booker's moving sideways. Thompson, that's Booker. He's moving sideways. Never gets a chance to turn upfield.
Chambers along the sidelines, but he was double covered, and Fiedler wisely threw that one away. So the Miami Dolphins with 4:05 left in the fourth quarter, trying to put a bit of scare into the New England faithful as they've driven down to the 10-yard line. 2nd and 10. They could get a first down without a touchdown, barely. Chambers to the left, isolated on Ty Law. They go to it, incomplete. And look who jumped in there. They were just baiting Fiedler, and Eugene Wilson was hoping that's where they'd go.
Well, let's look at this from behind the Miami offense. You see the blitz picked up nicely. Jay's got a lot of time to look and find a target. But you're right, Eugene Wilson squatted on that and cut it off from the inside.
Wilson in his second year out of Illinois.
Field gets awfully compressed down here, Dick.
Yeah, that red zone, Mosa can constantly put points on the board in that red zone. That's why they're top of the league. Crowd on its feet. Incomplete. Not close to Brian Gilmore, the slot man. 4th down. Got to go for it.
Well, there's no question you have to go for it. You need 2 touchdowns. So this is the simplest decision from a strategic standpoint that Dave Wanstead has had to make in a while. Now, calling the right play, that's another matter.
4 minutes exactly left. Well, this is the game. New England stops Miami here with a 2-touchdown lead. And there you go again. Another false start. And the penalty yards rack up.
Delay a game offense.
Well, this time they'd run out of time before the false start. 12th penalty.
How many times have we seen Miami in a critical situation today commit a 5-yard penalty? There's the play clock in the lower left. Jay doesn't even, raise his right foot to signal McKinney that he wants to snap until after the clock had hit double zeros. They've done that 3 or 4 times today.
About to do it again. Just did beat the clock. 4th and 15. Over the middle. Incomplete. Through the hands of tight end Randy McMichael. And New England takes over on downs. And they're now 3:55 away from 19 in a row.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored By Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. And by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
Tonight, folks, 9, 8 Central. It's based on an Oprah Book Club selection. Kirstie Alley stars in A Preacher's Wife with a Dark Secret While I Was Gone, a new CBS original movie tonight at 9, 8 Central. Hand off to pass. And he slams out to the 20-yard line, a gain of 4 before Sammy Knight can make the tackle. And they've etched the 24-10, haven't had to change that for quite a while. That would be 19 in a row. Never in the history of the game that has been accomplished. 3:49 to go, 24-10 New England. That was a Miami timeout. Their second, one remaining for the Dolphins. So Corey Dillon stays on the sidelines, and Patrick Pass getting the heavy duty, and the handoff to Pass. Surtain. New England going for 4-0. New York Jets. Buffalo late game, and they play a couple of weeks up here in Foxborough. Philly's got a bye, so they'll secure their unbeaten mark. Atlanta trailing the Lions, and Seattle and St. Louis go at it out in the West at 4:15. Patriots and their fans getting spoiled. This would be 13 consecutive wins here at Gillette Stadium. They were undefeated last year at home. They'd never gone a full season unbeaten at home. Abdullah now behind Klecko. And Zach Thomas, playing hard to the very last tick of the second, chasing him down along with Jason Taylor. Brother-in-law and brother-in-law. Thomas and Taylor with a stop.
Well, they're going to give their offense another chance.
Clock running. Miami has used up its complement of timeouts. One more chance for Wes Welker to return.
I would think that Miami would put a pretty good effort maybe in trying to block this. Just trying to force the issue. Can they make something happen?
Josh Miller among the leaders in punting going into the game just does get that one out. Welker on the run to the 50. And twisted out of bounds by Patrick Pass. He's all over the field as well at the 45. Well, a big doubleheader Sunday next week on CBS. Let's check the games. Early action. Chargers in Atlanta, or the Chiefs tangle with the Jaguars. Steelers will battle the Cowboys in a big one. And we'll be out in Oakland as the Denver Broncos play the Raiders. Check your listings. Greg Dan Shannon and Boomer on the NFL Today. That starts at 12 o'clock as always, Eastern Time. And we'll be watching at 9 o'clock out there in the Bay Area. 2:51 left. Ball at the 46. Looking for Booker. Does he have it? Yes, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Asante Samuel on the coverage, but Booker a fine over-the-shoulder catch. And you think now, when they get down to the 1-yard line, the chances that Dolphins have had here in the fourth quarter.
Yep. Marty Booker's trying to take himself out of the ball game. Again, Jay Fiedler identifies the single coverage and then throws the ball up and lets his receiver make a play. It's Asante Samuel, and look at Samuel. He had his hand right in there. That is just an unbelievable catch by Marty Booker.
45
and now
yards.
They're going to take a look at this. I think the replay official.
New England.
Oh, I'm sorry. New England's going to take a timeout. I wonder if they're going to take a timeout so they can look at this, have their guys look at it upstairs. We're still in the area where it would be a coach's challenge. You know, did Marty Booker have complete control of this football as he stepped out of bounds? Might be worth one more look. Is that?
It looks like.
Let's one more look at it.
He's cradling it. It's an awkward catch.
Does it come out after? Does it come loose after he hits? One more close look at it. No, that looks like a good catch by Marty Booker. That looks like a catch.
The you could see why it would be off, because he never really tucked it.
But you wonder if New England didn't want to take a good look at that.
Booker then 45 yards on that play. He has 7 catches for 123 in this one. So inside the 1, it's Fiedler. Look who came charging in. Ted Johnson, number 52, met him head to head, helmet to helmet.
Rejected.
Rudely. 2nd and goal, 2.5 to go. Wonder if Welker's ever onside kicked the ball.
Well, that's certainly going to come up when New England, if Miami rather, gets in the end zone. Yeah, again, Olindo Mari is gone, a guy that's never kicked, and the NFL before today may have to do an onside.
Fake to Morris, and Fiedler has to eat it as Rodney Harrison read that one all the way. Just in case you're going to try to fool us, I'm going to be in the backfield with you, and Fiedler.
Well, they pull Seth McKinney, the center, out, and it's his job to try to get all the way out there and stop a blitzing Rodney Harrison as Jay Fiedler is still on the ground. Watch the center come out, and he just can't get there. You can't ask a center to come all the way out and pick up a blitzing strong safety who's coming in off the edge without delay. And Jay Fiedler, you could see he hits his head. Looked like he hit his head awfully hard on the ground after that tackle.
They attend to Jay Fiedler, slammed to the ground on that tackle by Rodney Harrison. It pushes the Dolphins back to the 13. Remember, they were 1st and goal inside the 1. Now they're 3rd and goal at the 13.
Again, McKinney doesn't have a chance. It's timed perfectly by Rodney Harrison. Jay Fiedler never sees him, but just watch at the end of this. Watch Jay's head. Looked like it kind of went at an awkward angle as it bounces.
Rough ending to his best performance of the year, 16 for 30 and 211 yards. That's just in the second half. Here's J.J. Feely, number 7, from Oregon. They acquired from the Philadelphia Eagles in a trade. We'll see how Feely does on 3rd and goal from the 15. And welcome back. A.J. Feely takes over. This is a 3rd and goal play from the 13. Throw into the flat, complete to Chambers, but he's pushed out of bounds. Stops the clock at the 11, so a final chance on 4th down for Feely and the Dolphins. Jay Fiedler, the word from downstairs from Armin is that bruised his ribs on that tackle by Harrison. You can see he's trying to grab some air.
His ribs were a sore spot coming into the game. There was some concern that if he took a big shot, Jay Fiedler obviously in great pain.
4th and goal at the 7. They were 1st and goal inside the 1. Feely incomplete. Bruschi almost intercepted. And Feely was welcomed by Roosevelt Colvin, and he is getting up slowly, if at all.
Jay Feely working out of the shotgun right there, 59, Roosevelt Colvin. Just a half a second after Feely delivers the ball. Good, clean shoulder hit on the quarterback.
A beautiful fall day in Foxborough. We're at Gillette Stadium. Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Armin Katayan. Final 2 minutes of this game. The New England Patriots going for history today. Leading the Miami Dolphins have just stopped Miami with 1st and goal at the 1. That's A.J. Feely subbing for the injured Jay Fiedler, and he limps off after taking a hit from Roosevelt Colvin. It has not been the best offensive performance of the season by far by the Patriots, but they've had the goods again as they go for 19 consecutive wins. Has never been accomplished in NFL history. And now Tom Brady with a kneel down. No timeouts left for Miami. It's just a matter of running it out, and there's the litany of victories going through now 3 seasons, 19 in a row. Bob Kraft, who has been the mastermind of building this franchise Ladies and gentlemen, you go back 85 seasons to 1920, the first NFL year. Tens of thousands of men, including my partner Deerdorf, have played this wonderful game, but no team of men has ever put together 19 consecutive victories, and we're just seconds now away from that being accomplished.
And as you can see, it's been Miami mistakes that have led to New England scores. What's new? The New England Patriots playing opportunistic football. Who would ever imagine a scenario like that? What's really a surprise is the fact that New England did not pass the ball at all today. Tom Brady, I believe, is still under 100 yards. Passing the 76 yards for Tom Brady on 7 of 19 throwing the ball.
But yet,
guess what? It's a win for the Patriots.
Club 19 on top of Belichick. They were opportunistic. They used the short field, fumble recoveries, and interceptions to lead to the 24-10 victory. Congratulations, Bill Belichick, the New England Patriots, and their fans. An incredible run, but as Belichick will be the first to say, and I'm sure he will, just another win. We've got a lot more to be accomplished to get to our goal, and that's to defend our Super Bowl title.
But the way you win consistently in the NFL is to win as a team. And right now, I'm not sure anyone in the NFL epitomizes the word team more than the Patriots.
So for Dan Deerdorf and Armin Katay and Dick Enberg, so long from Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots have made history. Coming up, our Subway post-game show. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, and we go now to Greg Gumbel.